Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Well, well, well. First, let's shout out to Buckeye fan for the suggestion. Oh boy, brickface, excuse me, brickface Rota, lacking all type of discipline, obviously, but of course. So if y'all check the links in the description box, Miss Rhoda, what's her last name? Osmond, Oz something, whatever the hell. Miss Brickface, as Mr. Z calls her, called into Anton's panel a few nights ago. Um, and yeah, it was a sight to behold. Oh man! So shout out to the brother 2K who's a frequent guest, a constant guest on Anton's channel, and he started making jokes pretty much immediately. But they were very important. They were poignant, right? It was important that he said what he said, um, particular about Rhoda, who's still sticking to her story. She is still sticking to her story. Now, she didn't necessarily recite the story, but she's still sticking to the trauma, to feeling, I guess, abandoned by the Black community. She says that we should default to believing women, so believe all women type talk. Shout out to Anton for checking her on that. What I found a bit frightening, there's two. There's obviously from Rhoda, Brickface Rhoda, and from Anton. To Anton, I say, brother, I get it. You are a Republican, you are conservative, but you're walking real close to that line, brother. You're walking real close to that line. Okay, so let's first address Anton. So Anton says to the women in the chat on the panel that it's not racism, it's women like Rhoda who give black women a bad name. Ah, see, you know when you're agreeing with someone and you're agreeing and you nod in your head yes and you like yeah yeah and then they just go one step too far over the line and you like god damn it, right? You like see, I get it, Anton. Anti-blackness doesn't exist. Racism doesn't exist. White supremacy doesn't exist. That's a figment of loser, lame, lazy black people's imagination. This is not a real thing. Unfortunately, it is a real thing, but okay, fine. See, when you take it just that one step too far, just that one step, that big toe too far, right? You just step your big toe right over the line. And see, and what that does is it minimizes when something anti-black or racist does happen to black people. You know, the Crown Act. I love bringing up the Crown Act, right? Black women, black men, but namely black women wearing their natural hair, and racist white folks got something to say about it, and they say it's unkept, it's not professional, because they would much rather black women wear weaves, which is not healthy for their hair, or put chemicals in their hair to straighten their hair, which once again is not healthy for their hair. It's a breaking process, Anton. Something you already know. Huh? It's I don't care how unhealthy this is for you. You will imitate and you will adhere to the European beauty standard. I don't care if you're bleaching yourself, so be it. I don't care if you're wearing weaves, so be it. I don't care if you're putting hair relaxer in your hair to straighten it and it's damaging your hair and it's unhealthy and it might cause all type of health issues, so be it. You're going to adhere to the European beauty standard. I don't care how depressing it is. I don't care if it increases your inferiority complex. So what? And huh? Mr. Z doesn't need to be telling Anton this. Anton already knows this. Ah, but that political agenda, though, huh? For Anton, of all people, dark skinned, chubby, bald black man, blackity black. You can't mistake Anton for nothing but a black man. To say it's not racism, it's women like Rhoda. Ugh, do women like Rhoda make anything concerning black women any easier? Absolutely not. Is Rhoda the reason why white folks look at black women sideways? No. White folks and other non-black folks who are anti-black because they want to be anti-black, right? They are anti-black because they want to be anti-black. Huh. So I get it, but once again, every once in a while, a black person, whether it's a black man or a black woman, in their attempts to discipline, in their attempts to give word of advice, in their attempts to tell black people it's all their fault, well, it's all your fault. Racism, what's that? Anti-blackness, what's that? No, Latinos aren't taught damn there from the womb to be anti-black. They're anti-black because black people. No, Asians aren't being taught anti-blackness and they don't come from their home countries with colorism already. No, it's black people. No, white supremacy, white folks don't need black folks to be the bottom. They don't need the juxtaposition. They don't need the hierarchy. No, it's black people. Huh? If black people were just respectable enough, we wouldn't have these issues. Yeah, that's it. Because Negroes in suits weren't being hung. Uh-oh. Black churches weren't being firebombed, even as recently as what, a few years ago? 5, 6 years ago? Huh? Yeah. So shout out to Anton. Thank you for leaving this stream up. But brother, whenever we get into this respectability stuff, for those of you who are recent to Z's channel, on Z's channel, one of the sayings is respectability politics is the gateway drug to anti-blackness. That does not mean that we're anti being respectable. What we are saying is that respectability doesn't solve anti-blackness. Dressing well and speaking well and being educated for the white folks that want to be anti-black, for the white folks that want to perpetuate the racial hierarchy, your suit means nothing, your education means nothing, your intelligence means nothing, your class and your status means nothing. As a matter of fact, concerning class, being black and being educated mean nothing because you're black and that trumps everything. That supersedes everything. So to Anton, I say, you already know this. I'm not telling Anton anything he doesn't already know, but his political philosophy and ideology dictate that he ignores it and say to black women, no, 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 no. Anti-blackness is about black women like Rota. Do black women like Rota make it any easier? Absolutely not. But is anti-blackness even concerning black women? Is it because of women like Rota? No. Stop. Huh? So, continuing. Now to brickface Rota with the lack of discipline. The 2K jump out there and reminded her about her lies? Yes. Let's be very clear. Miss Rhoda, you want to quote unquote protect black women. You want to do right by black women. I don't believe you, but fine. We'll agree for argument's sake, right? Now, you, Miss Rhoda, whether you realize it or not, which you do, are exactly what white racist society loves. A black woman who weaponizes anti-black male narratives and notions against black men. Miss Rhoda, what you did earlier this year, speaking on lying about a black man who you turned down, hitting you in the face with a brick, which caused your face to swell up, was a lie. You lied. Then, on top of your lie, you added an extra lie. You ran across to some young men standing outside of a bar or a club and then lied that they did nothing. They watched that man berate you, hit you in the face with a brick, and they either did nothing or they cheered it on. That was a lie. The lie detector says that was a lie. Huh? Miss Rhoda, you lied about a man, black man, striking you with a brick after you told him you were not interested. Then you proceeded to lie about other black men standing around and doing nothing or even celebrating it. These are all of the racist, anti-black man, misandrist tropes that circle around the black community specifically and America more generally. The narrative that black men do not care about black women, the narrative that black men will do anything for a white woman, the narrative that black men will hop, scotch, jump, tie themselves in the pretzel for any light skinned black woman, racially ambiguous black woman, non black woman. But when it comes to black women, very visibly non ambiguous black women, black men wish the worst on them. Black men perpetuate the worst on them, do the worst to them, celebrate when things happen that excuse me, the worst to them. Black women, that is. Huh? Yeah. Miss Rhoda, 2K reminding you how dangerous your narrative that you were engaging with is not an attack on you. And even if it was, the problem is what now? You were speaking about trauma. Is it trauma from getting caught in the lie, which, by the way, revealed a bunch of lies that you've told over the past few years? Is that what's so traumatic? Huh? You've recorded yourself harassing others. You've recorded yourself lying on even other black women. You were jumped by black women. Mr. Z saw the clip. You recorded yourself lying on black men multiple times. Madam, your life is an example of your lack of discipline. Okay, fine, you have a PhD in gender studies or women's studies or whatever PhD you said you had. Perfectly okay. Madam, you're still a liar. Not only are you a liar, overt in your face liar, you lying for money. You're lying about being attacked. You're lying about other black women attacking you. You're recording yourself in hotel lobbies, lying on the white folks. All of this for GoFundMe money, crowdfunding money. Oh boy, you're a liar, ma'am. And you've been caught red-handed. Your hand is in the cookie jar, ma'am. We caught you lying. And you're still lying. Huh? Your hand is caught in the cookie jar lying, and you're still lying. Crumbs all over your face. Brick crumbs, that is. All over your face, and you're still lying. You are still lying. Not only that, you lack all sorts of discipline, madam. You're on Anton's show. Anton said you're not going to just get your comments off and then leave, but if you would like to stay and contribute to the show, you are welcome. He gave you an open invitation, but you just wanted to talk and get your narrative off. Huh? Yeah. This lady is off her rocker. But it doesn't matter because she's a black woman. And in the black community, we defer to black women no matter what. We don't care how they act. We don't care how they speak. We don't care how much they put black men and black children in danger. We don't care. We defend them because, well, we don't want to fall into the anti black trope that black men don't defend black women and that black women are essentially black men, but you know. with breastises. And so to defend the anti-black image of black women, to defend them from the anti-black image, what do? We throw black men under the bus. We charge black men with defending black women, but not really. We charge black men with kissing black women's ass. That is what defending black women looks like. Right? Oh boy. Something else I wanted to bring up that the panel was getting into. Mr. Z has said often on my channel that the outliers are doing way too much talking in the black community. Quite frankly, all around America, but definitely in the black community. The outliers are just doing way too much talking, way too much. So you have a number of people on the panel who are making really good money, or who are in a family that makes really good money. They're in a household that makes really good money. And so the conversation of men paying all the bills, or this should be the goal of men, black men, it's the 50-50 conversation all over again. Oh boy. Once again, not just in the black community, but across America, something like 3/4 of women, mothers, better yet, work. Somewhere along, I've seen numbers as high 78%, but I've seen 76 and 74% more often. Somewhere around 3/4, so that's 75% of mothers in America work. Not just in the black community, but across America. Huh? Yeah. With that, there's this narrative in the black community, and I understand it. It's the black community with its insatiable inferiority complex because of mainly black women, but it's the black community attempting to imitate white society without the resources, of course. And even in white society, the majority of the women, namely the mothers, work. And so, because we have way too many outliers in the black communities talking, the narrative is that black men should be striving to make their girlfriends, wives, etc., stay at home women. Okay, understandable. And for the vast majority of black men that do not achieve that because it's not meant for you to achieve it in this current state, then what? Uh oh. Huh? Now what? Huh? You know, it is the narrative of the myth of white womanhood that black women are levying on black men to solve. It is the insatiable inferiority complex of many black women because they live on the same planet as white women that black women are putting on black men to solve. And the frightening thing is how many black men adhere to this. Huh? Yeah. Way too many outliers talking. Not only that, you have a number of black women who are demanding that once again, and I'm glad that the young lady said it. I think, was it on the end of the second clip or was it the end of the first clip where the young lady, lighter skinned young lady, she was on the top row. She straight up said it. He pays, but I run it. He on his day to day because she's talking about her husband, by the way. Her husband came in with the money, but she, he pays, but she's the one who really runs it. Mr. Z told y'all, you run it, she funds it. Well, excuse me, you fund it, she runs it. Huh? Yeah. Uh-oh. Right? So Mr. Z already knew that this was the goal here, where you as a man, a black man, come in with all the money, all the security, all the stability, and yet your woman's opinion should reign supreme over yours, unless, of course, everything goes awry, everything goes to crap, And then for that half a second, your opinion is the one, right? That y'all will defer to. Oh boy. Huh? So part of this conversation is once again the 50-50 conversation. Now we already know in the black community, black men still out earn black women, even if it's by a dollar or two. Black men still out earn black women. We know black women have more college degrees than black men, but black men still out earn black women. And what does that mean? Nothing. Because black women are demanding that black men provide, protect, and shut up. And if you add women like brickface Rota to the conversation, they're also demanding that black men and the black community and the rest of society believe all women, namely black women, no matter how much they're lying, no matter who they endanger with their lie. Huh? Oh, and if they're caught lying, according to Olay's panel, no matter how much these women have endangered the lives of men, black men namely, if and when they're caught lying, well, no harm, no foul. So what? So what if the lie destroyed your life, destroyed your reputation? So what? So what if you're now unemployed? So what if you can't put food on the table for, your children and maybe even your wife, other black women? So what? Oh well. Huh? This is a very unenviable position that black men are put in, namely by black women and their black male ass kissers. Huh? Where women like Brickface Rhoda can lie on black men, play with nasty, sexist, anti-black, misandrist tropes of black men not protecting black women, not looking out for black women, actually enjoying watching black women fall and be harmed and be harassed and be assaulted, excuse me, or, well, also insulted, right? And because Brickface Rhoda lacks all type of discipline, she didn't even appreciate that being on Anton's channel would have been a good time for her to play the sympathy card, for her to play the soft demure card, for her to play down everything we've ever seen or heard about her. Yeah, but because she lacks all type of discipline, she couldn't. She couldn't. Hey, Mr. Shukti you says, funny you should mention that, Z. Cough, cough, Duke Lacrosse team scandal. Yeah, yes, right. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the Duke Lacrosse team was mentioned. Black women got to be very careful. Listen, black women. Do I believe that there are particularly non-black men, white men, that occasionally assault black women because they know that they can get away with it? Yes, I do believe that does happen. Is there a court system to vindicate those same white men? Of course. And lying about being harassed or assaulted by a white man or any non-black man, but particularly a white man, lying about it in a system and in a society that doesn't want to believe you when you're telling the truth anyway, doesn't make your situation or black people, namely black women's situation, any better. You already live in a society that believe that your body belongs to white folks. Your presence, your life belongs to white folks. You already live in a system that believes that. Lying about white folks, white men harassing you, assaulting you, graping you, doesn't make any of that any better. It makes it worse. It makes your stories even more unbelievable than the society that didn't want to believe it anyway. Huh? Dear Rhoda, dear other black women, huh? I would argue what has happened is that black women got so comfortable lying about black men, lying on black men, that every once in a while they forget, oh yeah, you can't do that to non-black men, namely white men. Huh? What was the name of the brother? Brian Banks? That was the one where the black woman lied on him, young black woman lied on him, and he had to serve jail time. Then she actually admitted that she lied about him, sexually assaulting her. Wasn't that his name? Somebody correct Z if he's wrong. Huh? We know about the lacrosse story. She got her attorney disbarred. That's how egregious the lie was. We know about brickface Rota. We know about Carly Russell. Shout out to the LGBTQ community. We know about Juicy Smouye, right? Yep. There are also a number of stories of black women getting their little heart broken and running their car into traffic and deleting a entire family. By the way, that car had children in it. Huh? Excalibur says, I thought a white chick lied on Brian Banks. I thought it was a black chick. Black woman. Somebody correct Z if he's wrong. I thought it was a black woman. Huh? There are so many stories of black folks making up stories. The LGBTQ white couple, lesbian couple who lied about it was a black man that deleted their children. The young white man who was skateboarding in a garage and hurt himself, and then lied about some random black men harassing him or harming him. There was the black woman, young black woman, I think she was 19 or 20, who was set to be engaged to her white fiance. She didn't want to marry him, so she lied about being raped by three different black men. This is the trope, this is the theme of America, right? Oh boy. Huh? There are so many stories of white folks and even black women just randomly making up some story of a random black man who harmed them. And Rhoda, you played right into that, right? The scary boogeyman black man. Huh? The scary boogeyman black man, right? White society, Latinos, Asians, black women, LGBTQ black folks, everyone with the stories of the random black man harming them. The what was she? An Asian woman who was in a domestic violence DV type of situation. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat because Mr. Z just demonetized his video. Um, she was in a DV situation with her boyfriend, and she lied about passing in front of a bar or club and being struck in the face by a random black man. This is when the whole knockout game thing was all a rave. And she lied about it. And the only reason we know is because the boyfriend's friend told the authorities, yeah, he's hitting her. And she lied about being struck in the face by a black man. Probably it was my friend, her boyfriend. Huh? Yeah, right. Dear Rhoda, you played with those type of narratives and you don't care. You do not care that what you did was play with the same narratives, the same racist, anti black narratives that have gotten black men deleted throughout American history. Huh? Throughout American history. from Africa I came says, remember the white woman that carved a bee in her face, um, and said a black man did it? I don't remember that story, but not surprised. Huh? There have been stories like this throughout time. And Rhoda, a black woman, child of immigrants, or an immigrant herself, better yet, black woman immigrant, and it says a lot that she says she took what, women's studies or something like that in college, and she has a PhD. In other words, should have never let us find that out. You know that the one thing America loves more than anything, right? The one thing America loves more than anything is a good old the black man did it story. Oh boy, America loves that, including some black folks. Yikes. Oh, does America love them a good the black man did it story or the black man deserved to be deleted story? Shout out to Mr. Penny. Oops. Huh? Oh, does America love a story like that? America loved them a black man low IQ story, black man deserved to be deleted story, black man did it, get him story. Oh, America loved that more than anything else. Huh? More than apple pie, more than American pie, more than a good old Ford Mustang or Ford F-150. Oh, America loved them a good the Negro is the problem story. And Rhoda, who's an immigrant and apparently has a PhD, put her finger to the wind and said, yeah, let me give America one more of those type of stories. Huh? And Cheryl says, black man did it, white man savior. Yeah, right. America loved them when it also America loved telling you it's not racism, it's not anti-blackness, it's black people. It's all in your head, black people. It's all a figment of your imagination. You're making it up, right? The anti-blackness that the society is charging you with is a figment of your imagination. It's not real. You're making it up. And if it does exist, it's because of the way you behave and the way you speak and the way you act in your mere existence. It's not really anti-blackness, right? Oh boy. So Rhoda played with all of that, and she couldn't even discipline herself enough to have a conversation with Anton. Huh? She couldn't even discipline herself enough to take what 2K was saying and either show some contrition and apologize, which, pff, yeah, right, black women apologize to black men. Haha, nope. Or sit there quiet. Ooh, goddamn, black woman quiet in the face of black man talking to her. Yeah, right. They'd rather watch the black community burn to ashes and then dance in the ashes. Huh? And Dr. D says, how is Rhoda an immigrant yet so ratchet at the same time? I thought Somalians didn't identify as black. Once again, typical. Some Somalians don't identify as black, number one. Number two, as a child of immigrants, let me tell you, there's a whole lot of ratchets. Okay? Don't ever let these people lie to you, Dr. D, about the King of Zamunda type narratives, and we're all upper class and upper crust, right? And we're so classy. Nope. So fancy. Nope. Right? Number two. Number three, a lot of immigrants, children of immigrants, wild ass white folks, namely young white folks, they look at engaging with some of the hood or ratchet black culture as liberating. What they appreciate, not about black culture writ large, but about the ratchet elements of black culture, is what they see as they see it as freeing and liberating. Really, it's a negative liberty. right? It's negative liberty. They love the fact that, especially concerning black women, but in the black community, you have the ratchet element of the black community that doesn't believe in rules or norms. They do what they want to do, how they want to do it. I do what I want. That type of narrative. They love it. And so you'll get white folks, namely young white folks, right? This is in their early and mid 20s, in their teens. This is before they get serious and then go move to the suburbs and marry their lame ass, boring sex having ass spouses in their late 20s and in their early 30s. Before all of that, they smoke out, they enjoy interracial sex and fun and doing ratchet things, right? I want to do hood rat things with my friends. Those white folks, that's what they do in their early and mid 20s, definitely their early 20s and their teens. They slum it with black folks. There are a number of children of black immigrants, some black immigrants, they do the same thing in their teens and in their early and mid 20s, even if they are in somebody's college, in someone's university, right? They're smoked out. They're doing all type of foolery with black folks, mainly ADOS folks, right? And very few of them, I would say, stay in that. Many of them, they slum it with black folks right until it's about time to get serious about adulting. So about 26, 27, 28, they turn all of that down. And next time you see them, they live in 2 cities away. And the only reason you saw her or you saw him is because he came to visit his mom, right? And they're, Z, how do you know this? Right? They they live 2 cities away and they're doing well and they're married and they have a child now and they're making good money and they're stable. And they don't look like or sound like anything like what they were all of 10 years ago and 12 years ago when you knew them. Huh? If y'all recall, Chrissy even said when she was younger, she was in the hood smoking with the Negroes and all this other stuff. Now she want to do the whole black girl in luxury and nose in the air. Uh-oh. Huh? Now she want to do the whole so fancy thing. Now she want to tell you about her luxury apartment. Same thing with that Nigerian sister. I want to say she was African, but Nigerian sister that we covered a few months ago, talking about coffee is bean juice with her fake posh accent. I'm of this class. And black men don't think black women are deserving of a nice dinner, a nice meal. She told you at one point she was fiending for all the hood dudes. And she had long weave in and et cetera, et cetera. Oh boy. Huh? You even see it amongst ADOS in the black community, where you have black men, black women who grew up upper middle class, but in their 20s, when they finally get their first car, maybe in high school, but definitely in their 20s, when they get their first car, they're all in the hood or they're hanging around with hood dudes. Some of the women get pregnant, some of them don't. Shout out to Crystal and Kerosene. Oops. And by the time they get in there, they get their little heart broken maybe once or twice, or they can't get these men to bow to them the way they want. They get in their mid and late 20s. They go find some lame loser ass white man to go lay up under for the next decade or two. Or one of us square brothers that don't know about her past. Huh? And she just chalked that out as youthful indiscretion. Huh? Oh boy. Oh, and thank you for the clarification. From Africa I came says Kerosene black baby daddy is upper class. She still laid up under a black man, and then when it didn't work out, she ran up under a white man. Right? Why is Mr. Z bringing this up? Going to what Dr. D said, Rhoda being Ratchet, I would argue, is what she sees as liberating, especially for a black feminist, which essentially Rhoda is. For a black feminist, Rhoda is perfect. Ratchet, no discipline, tries to overtalk black men, lies on black men with one of the most stereotypical narratives in the black community or concerning the black community. Black men harming black women, black men can't keep them hands to themselves, black men feeling like they own black women. So if a black woman tells him no, he thinks he can harm her, assault her, right? Yeah. Huh? Thank you, Vince. It. I was young. It was the past, or it was. Yeah, I was young. It was the past. Yeah, that type of narrative. Huh? Oh boy, this is dangerous. What Rhoda did, how Rhoda acted, and the fact that 2K bought it up is not inherently an attack on Rhoda. Rhoda, you lied. You got caught straight up lying on black men, and you stood on it. You stood on the lie. Huh? You stood on the lie. You took one of the most racist anti-black male tropes humanly possible, and you stood on the lie. Huh? The lie stems from some weird form of white patriarchy, as if white men don't throw white women under the bus regularly. It stems from the idea that white men are the white knights and they will always defend white women. They will put their life on the line for white women. They will delete themselves or know they're about to be deleted for white women. And this is true manhood and masculinity. Black men, on the other hand, absolutely not. Black men actually expect black women to be their shield. Black men don't protect black women. Huh? And you, Rhoda, played that narrative to the T. And still to this day, you are standing on that narrative. You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You got caught lying, and you're still standing on the narrative and won't back down from it. Huh? Exactly, Vince. That that's the Pazzi. Why are you bringing up ish? Exactly, right? Exactly. Right? Exactly. So we have to be honest. Black women are human beings too. Black people, black women that are in America are Americans also, particularly ADOS FBA, any naturalized citizens are American also. And what that means is that they're going to engage with the racist anti-black man narratives also. Huh? And much of the anti-black male narrative is always blame the nearest Negro. It's all the nearest black man. It's always Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. The nearest black man, it's his fault. And black women will engage with that rhetoric also. You better believe it. Huh? Black women will also, and we see this increasingly, a number of black women that grew up with black men, who were in the same communities as black men, who attended the same church as black men, right? Same schools as black men, raised by the same single mother as black men. You let them talk long enough and they sound anti-black as hell, racist as hell concerning black men. But of course, and the myth of white womanhood, if we're going to be honest, dictates that black women do exactly what they're doing, throwing black men under the bus. How else can you achieve white womanhood? Isn't that what white women do? Oops. Thank you, Trill. And Trill says, it's the America can way. Thank you. Right? Isn't that what isn't what black women are doing? Better yet, isn't the way black women are behaving, the lies black women are telling on black men, isn't that what white women do? Huh? So all this is black women doing their best rendition of white women, but of course, huh? And we'll pause right here for a second. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Detroit says, meanwhile, some divester chick said pink pill white husband ain't dusty when he left her, and I got it on screen record. Oh, really? Wait, he ain't dusty when he left her. I'm a little lost on the comment, Detroit. Meanwhile, some divester chick said pink pill white husband ain't dusty when he left her, and I got it on screen record. I'm a little lost on the comment. I thought that was the whole reason why she was with him. But apparently, didn't didn't Crystalline Carrison earn more than her husband when they first met? Right? Hmm? If I'm not mistaken, didn't she earn more than him when they first met? And if I'm not mistaken, did didn't she always earn more than him? Maybe that part I'm wrong about, but I'm almost certain that she earned more than him when they first met. And all she was looking for was the white man to be a safety net. And clearly they stuck it out for as long as they could, and now they're divorced. Right? Now they're divorced. Now she's back out here at what, 50 something years old, trying to look for another white man to take her on, pretending like she don't know why the divestors sound like Nazis. Huh? Women like you who called black men nothing but big D and swag, now you're pretending like you don't understand why the divestors sound like Nazis. Huh? Much of what's going on in the black, this is why I'm becoming more and more an advocate of black men, if they can't find them a black woman in America worth a damn, to run for your life. Huh? To run for your life. Because if the black community has women like Rota, who other black women won't stand up to, if the black community has black women like Chrissy and Divested Zealot, if the black community has women like Paris Milan, who spent a couple years speaking about femicide and just recounting any story she heard of a missing black child or missing black girl, better yet, and it was always Jermaine's fault. Huh? If the black community has that going on and just refuses to address it, much rather put all the onus on black men, the Dr. Umar Johnsons and FD signifiers of the world, well, and it's the funniest thing in the world is these same men demand that black men stay with black women. Huh? We're going to defer to her. We're going to, quote unquote, believe all women, believe all black women. We're going to chastise you for her, black women. We're going to demean you for her, black women. We're going to do all of that, but yet we still demand that you do for her, black women, and you stay in the black community, and you eat the verbal abuse and the mental abuse and the emotional abuse. Yep, yep, yep. And have your likeness destroyed if you don't kiss her ass. Yeah. Huh? Oh, and work yourself to death so that you don't do 50-50 because you better pay all the bills. But by the way, even though you pay all the bill, that doesn't mean we defer to you. You still don't lead anything. We still don't defer to you. You fund it, she run it. Huh? Oh boy. Oh, Detroit, I didn't realize this. And then Detroit says, then she came back to blame to then she came back to black men to wife her up. Yeah, I remember she was dating some brother at one point. We're talking about Crystal and Karas and everyone. Yeah, I recall that. I recall that. Right. But isn't that as American Pie? Isn't that what the white girls be doing sometimes? The white women, oops, huh? They do their thing with white men for a little bit, and then they break up with white men, and they're they go find them a brother to go lay up under, or huh? They get old enough, and they already donated their 2.3 white children to white society, so now they could go get smashed out by some brother. You don't see what Crystal and Kerrison is. This is a wannabe white woman if you ever seen one, huh? All of these women, whether it's Rhoda too, we didn't forget about her. Whether it's Chrissy, whether it's Rhoda, whether it's Crystal and Kerosene, whether it's Lexus Exodus, whether it's Divested Zealot, all of these women are either throwing a temper tantrum that they're not white women or trying their hardest to imitate white women. A mixture of both, huh? And it's not just being a woman; it's being a white woman. When Crystal and Kerosene was that on Dr. Thunder's channel? Whose channel was she on? Or was that Obsidian? I know she was talking to Obsidian, but I don't recall if that was Obsidian's channel or if that was Dr. Thunder or who. She popped up. It was Obsidian's channel. I want to say it was Obsidian. She popped up, and the second Obsidian played for her all those videos of black women chasing after and fiending after white men in particular. Once again, showing Crystal Kerzen what the product of her rhetoric has been for the past decade and some change. What it's actual equal to is black women openly saying, "Oh yeah, the way we treat black men, we can't treat white men like that." In other words, the way we mistreat black men, we can't treat white men like that. And when Obsidian played that for Crystal and Kerosene turned on the waterworks. She's turned on the crocodile tears. And I can't recall if it was May that was up there that I think it was May that said, what did she say again? Indigo might remember. She said black men put black women through a not tumultuous, what was the word? What was the word that she used again? Oh, I forgot the word. I forgot the word she used. Essentially, it was a hell of a time, but negative connotation. But I can't remember the word she used. Right? God damn, I can't remember y'all. Forgot. But yeah, all of that is white women stunts. Right? All of that is white women stunts. The crocodile tears, the saying that black men put black women through some type of arduous situation, huh? It wasn't through hell. It was a word. It wasn't two words. It was oh man, it's right there. I can't get that word out. I'm I'm gonna remember it after the stream. Watch, right? Yeah, I'm gonna remember it after the stream. I know it, but yeah, right. So Crystal and Kerzen in particular, the way she behaves is wannabe white woman behavior, and women across America see white women as women. They are the true women, particularly upper middle class white women. White women are the true women. White women are the upper middle class, in particular, white women is where femininity truly lies. Right? Yeah. All of this ties back to Brickface Rota because all of the narrative is the same. All of it is the same. Yeah. It's always blame Jermaine. It's always Jermaine's fault. And that's what Rhoda did. That's what Rhoda used the oldest trope in America. It's the Negro's fault. Huh? It's the Negro's fault. And once again, Detroit, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And actually, y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. First off, I'm gonna have to put that song as a in the description box. Somebody put was it somebody put the OJ the Juice Man joint. Quarter brick, half brick, whole brick. Hey, oh, wow. Wow. And that has the most likes in the comments for Anton. That's hysterical and accurate. Um that's hysterical and accurate. I really want to also stress the 50-50 conversation. Look, as I said before, it's just way too many outliers talking in the black community. Shout out to those of us that do the numbers and that do the research. It's way too many outliers talking. The truth of the matter is, black men are still in the black community, especially for the married folks. Black men are still the primary breadwinner in the black community, much like in other communities. Black men still earn more than black women, right? The narrative of black women being the primary breadwinner in their families are when there's not a man in the house. That part, number one. Number two, the 50-50 conversation. Dear women writ large, if you didn't want to go 50-50, then you should have never fought for equality. Oops. In egalitarianism. Yikes. And no, you don't get to throw in, well, we have children, then stop having children. Wait a minute, you already are. Uh-oh. And that marriage rate is going to the crapper. Yikes. Well, will you look at that? Huh? Dear ladies, if you didn't want to go 50-50, you should have never fought to be in the workplace. Huh? What was the point of fighting to be in the workplace? What was the point of fighting for anti discrimination laws concerning women? What was the point for fighting for equal pay for equal work if you didn't want to be paid equally? Uh-oh. Huh? We have to keep stressing that it's not in particular the black community, it's not insecure men that's the issue. It's wayward women who thought that the thumb would be put on the scale for them in grade school. The thumb would be put in on the scale for them in college and university, in advanced when they're getting their advanced degrees, their terminal degrees. The thumb would be put on the scale for them, and somehow magically When she catches the baby rabies and it's time to get married and have children and have a nuclear family, all of a sudden she would meet men who earn significantly more than her, who are better in society than her, who have a higher status than her, and that man who's also extremely good looking would choose her. Oh boy. Huh? We have to stress to our families, to our coworkers, to our friends, whenever this conversation comes up. I'm not saying that y'all should initiate it, but whenever this conversation comes up, we have to stress that it's not the men, it's the women and the way they see their femininity. We're not talking about tall, chisel chin Chad or Tyrone that she gives the box to for free. We're talking about when it's time to get married and be serious and be an adult. That's when women are just as invested, if not more, invested in patriarchy. Even brickface Rota said it. Ooh, goddamn. Don't miss the part where she was saying, oh, we need to essentially deprogram the women from being misogynistic. What she's really saying is the women are invested in the patriarchy also. Uh-oh. Huh? Once again, we're not speaking about the swag, excuse me, the swaggy or the gift the gab black man who talks her panties off. Nope, 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 nope. We're speaking about when it's time to adult, when it's time to be married, when it's time to have children. All of a sudden, the women don't want the thumb on the scale for them anymore. Actually, they still do, but still. Huh? That includes black women. We have way too many outliers talking. In the black community, we have and shout out to Anton. I'm not really making fun of him too much or going in on him, but we have way too many Anton and his panel, all these six-figure folks doing way too much goddamn talking about relationships and the way relationships should be and what men should be doing and what women should be doing, namely what men should be doing, how men should be spending, what men should be aspiring for, excuse me. Huh? We have way too many people, way too many outliers talking in the black community. The young lady, the light skinned young lady that was talking about her husband, and she was talking about what, $7.5 million deal? Huh? 7.5 mil. Meanwhile, not just even in the black community, in America, about 9% of Americans are millionaires, and that's not liquid millionaires. That's all their assets millionaire. That's not liquid. If you check their bank account, it'll be $1 million in there. Nope. That's assets. That's everything. If you liquidate everything in their life, you could sign them a check for 1.5, 1.2, 1.7, $2.1 million. That's everything. That's the house, the car, 401k, everything. Meanwhile, this lady talking about her man wanting to sign the deal to sell his business or some odd like that for $7.5 million. Too many outliers are talking in the black community. This is one of the reasons I say we got all of our wires crossed. Huh? Anton's another one. Goddamn, Z. A brother who started making six figures mad early in his life, lost it and got it back. Huh? Married, all of his family is married, no divorces, nowhere to be seen. Huh? Way too much talking. Conservative and been on Fox News. Way too much talking. Outliers doing way too much talking in the black community. Huh? Does Anton say things that we agree with? Yes. Does he say other things? Right? But of course, the Outliers are doing so much. Chrissy is another one. Single black woman with a luxury condo, doing really well financially, YouTube channel. Chrissy got to be clearing way over 6 figures a year. Real Talk with Yanni, another one. Paris Milan, another one. Lexus Exodus, another one. The Outliers doing way too much talking. Huh? Shout out to all of us who are extra regular. I'm not saying that the brothers that are earning well in life or the black women who are earning well in life shouldn't be talking. That's not what Mr. Z is saying. I'm not the male equivalent saying take their mics. What I am saying is the Outliers are doing way too much talking. And it's skewing the conversation in the black community. Huh? It's completely skewing the conversation in the black community. We got folks that are worth millions of dollars speaking, and people are getting their wires crossed because you don't realize you don't live that life. You're nowhere close. Huh? We have faceless black women on the internet talking about. I tell average and below average looking black women that if they can't date hypergamously, it's better they be alone. And then standing on that comment, by the way. Now, this is a black woman who, according to her, is doing well financially. She got her luxury apartment. She over here again, deed down by some non-black man. Huh? And yet, she's telling average black women who's earning average money that if they can't date hypergamously, it's better that they be alone, as if they can afford to be alone financially. Huh? We're not even speaking about emotionally where they are. We're not even there yet. We're not even speaking about mentally where they are. Financially, they can afford to be alone. But you listen to women like Chrissy, huh? You listen to women like Real Talk with Yanni. I want to be a kept woman of leisure. And what's the incentive? Well, for your average black woman, how about not starving? Huh? For your average black woman, how about having someone, intimate, oh God, Z, you're about to say the word, partner to lean on? You know, a man to lean on. How about that? How about that being the incentive? Huh? Man. And we'll pause right here. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Cyrus Burke says, not gonna lie, I think Anton is a coward with money who chose the easy ideology to follow. Too much work and not enough money to properly advocate for black men. I I think it's I understand what you're saying with the easy part. Let's just say, hmm, I really want to use that quote that says, it's difficult to get a man to what is it? It's difficult to get a man to believe something, especially when his paycheck is dependent on him not believing it, or something like that, right? I don't know if I see Anton as a coward. I see Anton as being who I expect him to be, particularly concerning the fact that he's married. His according to him, his siblings are married. Everybody around him's married. He's doing well. He got it. He got into the money early, right? He fell off. He got right back up. Got the money again. Child in wedlock, right? Like all everything in his life. When you follow the formula and it works for you, it's difficult for someone to tell you, yeah, but it didn't work for me, or it didn't work for this person, or I see things differently, or I'm moving a little different. I vote a little different. I have a different political philosophy, and this is why. It's difficult to hear that when you you followed the script and it worked for you. And Anton followed the script and it worked for him. And I don't fault him for that, right? I don't see him as a coward. I see him as being your stereotypical conservative brother, right? Who followed the script. It worked for him. He's making good money. He came up on his money early. And why would he ever, you know, question anything? And to me, Anton, much like Angry Man, much like sometimes Obsidian, although I hesitate to put Obsidian in this because I think is Obsidian is less likely to say race don't matter at all or playing down race like that, at least from my experience, from when I listened to Obsidian. But especially when you listen to Angry Man and when you listen to Anton, oh yeah, they're quick to make subtle jabs about, how race ain't really the thing, right? And I get it, especially when you're conservative or Republican. Like the way white men frame the race conversation is to make anyone that's Asian men, especially men, Asian men, that's South and East Asian men, black men, indigenous men, whenever you mention or make mention of the racial hierarchy and quote unquote how quote unquote unfair it is, because remember, you're supposed to make your fair. Okay, fine. Whenever you mention this or get anywhere near it, they label you as a PUSSY. Soft, pathetic, making excuses. Because no real man, aka no real white man, and all of you white man aspiring ass dudes would ever mention hierarchies or how rigged systems, race, because that's what the women do. Huh? The women talk about fairness. The women talk about quote unquote hierarchies of oppression. That's what the women do. So you see the position that especially white conservatives put men, particularly black men and other men of color in. It's this weird juxtaposition where, well, you can't bring that up. That's soft. Real men don't do that. Real men make their own fare, right? Real men don't speak about rigged systems, rigged game. Real men just accept it and move accordingly. And it don't matter if we block the whole goddamn lane. Make your own lane. Okay, fine, you making your own lane, we sabotage you. So what? And so when you see men like Anton and they play down race and they kind of minimize it, or they make these kind of comments like what he said to the women on the panel and in the chat about Rota, um, that's to be expected. And I understand it. Because if you are a real man, particularly more on the right side of the political spectrum, you don't make excuses by mentioning race or sabotage or any of that. It don't matter if you catch the white folks sabotaging you. You catch the white man's hand in the goddamn cookie jar. You find a way to say, well, it's black people's fault because we were too weak. We were too naive. So I get it. I get it. Right. So I get it. But I wouldn't say Anton is a coward. I think I will agree with you that Anton did go along the easier route, but it works for him. It not only did it work for him, it's working for him, right? So I get it. I'm not gonna throw Anton under the bus for that. I get it. I get it, right? So yeah. But I do think advocating for black men, advocating, do we appreciate, even in the black manosphere, do we appreciate how much advocating for black men, how much of a upward battle it is? like I know we see Dr. Tommy Curry and we listen to and have conversations with um Hassan, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. I know we hear Dr. Ron O'Neill and we hear Dr. Green Gorilla, right? We hear Dr. Dunbar. We hear all of the PhDs in this space or that are not in this space but that speak on and advocate for black men. Dr. Thunder. We listen to these people speak. And I'm not even going to mention all the brothers with master's degrees and advanced degrees. Um, but do we really appreciate the upward battle that it is to advocate for black men and boys and to speak kindly of black men and boys? Do we appreciate that? Black men are supposed to be stepping stone Stacy in America. Black people writ large, black men specifically. Huh? Do we really appreciate that? So when I Uh, as a matter of fact, I think the best way to continue this is by reading Chuck's comment. And Chuck says, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Chuck says, what I want is black excellence in the same register and in the same currency as small hats and Asian excellence is measured. They don't have to talk about it anymore because they are simply doing it. That's a lie, bro. That's like an out and out lie. I don't know. Do y'all know Asians? Everybody keep on talking up on age. Do y'all know that Asian young women have like the second highest self deletion rate in America, right? Do y'all know Asians? You do know that Asian American women marry outside of their race more than any other group in America, mainly to white men. Excuse me, said that wrong. Asian American women marry outside of their race, only second to Native American women. 54% of Asian American women marry outside of their race in America, mainly to white men. That's inferiority complex, bro. That means Asian men did all of that for what? For their daughters to go turn around and go get pogo sticked in by white men. Excellence? How excellent are you if your women got the most insatiable inferiority complex, only maybe second to black women? What's the point then? What's the point of this Asian excellence when Asian men have essentially been labeled asexual in America? Huh? All the degrees in the world, all the money in the world, and yet the women from your demographic are over here chasing after white dudes. I don't know. And when you talk about the small hats, that's an, let me tell you the same thing that Dr. Marcia Inhorn said. The two group of people disproportionately freezing their eggs are small hat women and Asian women. Well, will you look at that? Huh? I get what you're saying, and a part of me doesn't disagree. Right? I definitely wouldn't mind the income and the wealth, proportionally of the Asian American community, right? And it's mainly, by the way, being held up by Indians. Indians are really the ones that's holding up the entire quote unquote Asian race, even though we know East Asians and South Asians are different, but still. In America, it's really Indians in particular because they're the ones who shoot up all the way to $119,000, I think, household income, something like that. And I think it's actually more now. But last time I checked, it was 119 or something like that. Average household income or median household income. I don't remember if it was average or median, but either way, they're the ones who's really making the Asian community look like they really balling out of control. It's the Indians, and that's mainly because of the tech industry. Huh? Bruh, have you been following the Asian community? This is a lie, bro. And Chuck says they don't have to crow about being Asian and having Asianness injected into everything. They simply master the material. That's not true. That's one of the Asians' biggest complaint is that they don't feel American enough. They don't feel included in the American project. Are you, bro? Chuck, trust me. Are you paying attention? Go. You know what? Don't even trust me. Take that back. Go look it up for yourself. I'm not even gonna tell you to trust me. Go look it up for yourself. Much of the East Asian and South Asian complaint, but mainly the East Asian complaint, is they don't feel like they're really included in America like that, the American project like that. They are complaining. You just don't know, right? They are complaining, Chuck, right? Waffles, that's one of the reasons. Waffles is because those two groups are the only ones that can afford it. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons. Once again, speaking about freezing eggs, we're talking about the small hat women and the Asian women, right? Yes. Yeah, but no, Chuck, that's not actually true, bro. Exactly, son is hot, raw. Not enough Asian representation. Y'all remember when Crazy Rich Asians came out? You remember how Asians were speaking about the movie? Did you not hear the tropes like, this is everybody need to go see this. This is celebrating Asians. This is showing rich Asians, etc., etc. Bro, like, Chuck, that's not actually true, bro. I get it, and I appreciate why these narratives exist in the black community concerning non-black folks, but non-black folks don't got it together the way y'all think they do. Do they have the same exact issues as the black community? Yes and no. Is it to the level of the black community? Absolutely not. Um, but I don't think y'all really appreciate these other communities have issues that we don't have. Like I know we have a growing deletion rate, self-deletion rate, better yet, amongst black men in particular, amongst young black men, but Asian women are deleting themselves, right? Young Asian women on top of that, right? As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the entire excuse me, the entire Asian community, that might be one of their leading um reasons for well death is self-deletion, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's speaking to something, right? Thank you, Nema. Crazy Rich Asians is about the 1% of Singaporean ethnic Chinese, which, by the way, Nema, correct me if I'm wrong, the Singaporeans that's really running things is Chinese. Chinese and Chinese descent. Singaporeans are really the rich Singaporeans for the most part. Nema, tell me I'm wrong, right? So I get why you're saying what you're saying, Chuck. It's not 100% accurate. These people do not feel included the way you think they do. They're not. Their time in America and what's going on is not as uh, not joyous. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's not as pleasant as you would think. They're not as happy as you would think, right? Man, and better use says Asians own tech, and East Asians, Koreans, and South Asians, Indians got a bit of beef going too. Yeah, no, I mean like, and we haven't even mentioned the whole color caste system in India that they're bringing over to America, and they got in Britain, by the way, that they're bringing over to America to the point where even white folks are passing legislation, mainly in California, or their company rules talking about dismantling and making sure to block any type of caste color situation going on in these major corporations because the Indians are bringing their caste system BS to these major corporations. I'm telling, trust me. Not even. Let me take it. That's such a phrase I use. Chuck, I would suggest you look it up for yourself. There's been articles about it. I've mentioned this. The Brahmins are bringing that caste crap to America, right? It's not as it's not as perfect as you think, or you didn't say perfect. It's not as great as you think. These people are not doing as great as you think, bro. Does the black community have discipline problems? Yes. Behavioral issues, mainly from the women? Yes. Um, are there things that we can improve of? Absolutely. That goes without saying. Well, once you start doing the compare and contrast, brother, there's a lot of things that aren't great about other communities. They just got the money and they can hide. Not to mention, and this is the very most important part, the the microscope isn't on these non-black folks, man. This is why you have rings of Asians with doing what type of crime were they doing in Atlanta? On top of that, um, what type of ring did they have going on in Atlanta a few years ago? The story came out. Was it like it wasn't child support. It was food stamp fraud or something like that. Them Asian folks got into in Atlanta a few years ago. They got caught in, right? I'm not even gonna tell you about South Florida and how many Cubans, mainly white and white passing Cubans, get caught all the time. Big enemy, big excuse my language, bust of Cubans getting caught up in all type of healthcare fraud, IRS fraud, all different type of things. Why? Because they're able to go on doing this for so long because once again they're not black, so the microscope isn't on them like that. So whenever the cops or whatever alphabet boys get tipped off, or whenever they hear something or see something and they follow through with it, they find out these people been doing this for a decade, 5, 6, 7, 8 years plus. If it was black people, you would have got caught the second day because the microscope is on black people heavy in America, and it allows for a lot of people to skate. Even Olay said this: the violent crime that's going on in rural areas with rural white folks doesn't get mainstream reported like that. Why? Because they're not black. Tone Talk spoke about this. Y'all know Tone Talks is an attorney. When he goes to court in LA, it's all different type of people in court for all different type of crimes. Trafficking Asian folks having and we knew what was that story of the Asian folks that damn near had a whole little slavery ring going on in what, Texas or something like that with black folks? Was that Asians or was that white folks that had brought in some Africans on some adoption thing or something like that, or they sponsored them, but they had them doing like borderline slave labor? Wasn't that, didn't that happen a few months ago? That story broke. Somebody tells you he's wrong, right? So these other people don't have the microscope on them. That's why you don't know how horrible whatever wrong is going in their community or that's happening with their ethnicity. You don't know about it because, well, right? We're not even gonna speak about the Chinese kids that come over mainly to LA, mainly in California, some in Washington. They come over. Their parents pay because the baller ass Chinese. Their parents pay for the house and the condo and pay for the car, and then these kids come to the America and they start wilding, hit and runs, drunk driving, etc., etc. Straight up Chinese kids with Chinese and white friends. No black person in sight, right? Chuck, it's not do can black people do better? Yes. My title is really, it was about discipline, right? And how Rota lacked all type of discipline. But that ain't the only issue, and that's not the number one issue, right? So I agree with you with excellence. I definitely want to see black people. I want to see black excellence. But with that, I am under no illusion that that's going to alleviate. Actually, in a weird way, I think white supremacy will really show its fangs, and because there will no longer be, well, the problem is you excuses. In a weird way, I actually think it makes things better and then makes things worse at the same time. Um, that doesn't mean we don't strive for that, though. Yeah, I just think there's this misreading of history concerning black folks, and this idea that black people are in the position they're in because we're not behaving enough and we're not, tying our shoes and crossing our T's and dotting our I's. And that's a issue. Yes, it is a issue. It's not the issue, right? So yeah, exactly. And Vince said suspect is between 4'11" and 6'5". Complexion is black. Exactly. Like that's just a rope all of them in. That's once again, that's another, it's Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. right? Landon says every ethnic group is basically destroyed mentally by white supremacy when they come to America, but they aren't targeted like black people. This is my point. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. See, and Pastor G says, ask high achieving Asian men about love interests they lost to average white men. You can't excellent your way through that, Chuck. Chuck, you can't excellent your way through that, right? It is white supremacist as hell for white men to make themselves quote unquote just right, right? They're not hyper masculine like black men. They're not trying to make up for a lack of masculinity and a lack of manhood like black men, so they're not hyper masculine. Nor are they effeminate and kind of soft and kind of dainty men like Asian men, right? So yeah, Asian men might have a bit more money and they might be a bit more educated, a bit more stoic, and et cetera, et cetera. But they're a little too dainty, a little too strict, a little, which is funny because they're put on the they're put on the like a bit feminine of men while also being, excuse me, extremely strict and structured. While once again, black men are more loose with it, but are hyper masculine to make up for not being man enough. And white men are just right. They're just right, right? That's all. That's white supremacy, Chuck. That there is no excellent your way out of that, right? So yeah. Hey, I'm not even gonna highlight it better. You, I'm fingers across, right? And Cyrus Burke says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Cyrus says, Z, I need you to make a Twitter account so that I can send you these Asians of all nationalities cucking for white men and low key offering their women to them. Wow. Wow. Chuck, you said excellence, Chuck. That don't sound excellent to me, right? Man, damn, that's crazy work. That's crazy. They over here pimping out Asian women, right? I might have to invent this, make a ghost IG account, Z. I might have to. I might have to. Wow. That's crazy, right? And once again, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Yeah, but it sounds just about right, though. Sounds just about right. And Chuck, I don't want you to think or feel like I'm attacking you. I just want you to maybe consider these things a little differently. As I said, black people have a lot to work on. And there are things about other communities that black people can take and improve on. With that, let us not be under any illusion that this is like the be all end all, right? Like what white society does is it uses these as excuses for reasons why the black community isn't where it should be or where it could be. And it does the whole, well, the issue is the way you guys conduct yourself, the issue is your hair, the issue is the way you speak, the issue is that you don't take education seriously enough, the issue is that you don't marry enough, the issue is that you're not following this script, right? And even for the black folks that do follow the script, then now you have to kiss ass, right? And even for the black people that do follow the script, that doesn't guarantee them that they don't fall off or better yet get kicked off, right? That doesn't mean we don't strive, right? For your own sake, for your own good, for the good of your family and your friends. But it does mean that you don't see this as the panacea that, at least from my understanding, that you're somewhat framing it as, Chuck. That's where I'm going with it. Huh? And Els Active says, put it in the description when you get it. I will. I will. Right? So that's you have to appreciate yeah, you have to appreciate this system is rigged against everyone who isn't white, namely black folks, namely black men. Other people get to play in white folks' faces, or white folks get to play in their faces because they're closer to white folks, right? They're not they're not further down on the hierarchy, they're further up on the hierarchy. So Asians get to play, right? Vivek Ramaswamy get to play around, right? Nikki Haley gets to play around. They get to play 1 foot in and 1 foot out. The East Asian women that's over here letting white dudes use them as trampolines, they get to play 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And then they wonder why their consummate gentleman ass sons have such an inferiority complex. And he's not the only Hapa son that moves and thinks like this, by the way. There's a lot of Asian white mix, Daniel Holesclaw, consummate gentleman ass, white Asian mix boys and men who have an insatiable inferiority complex because they realize that their mom has an inferiority complex and that's why they're with their dad, or at least was with their white fathers. Asian mother, white father. So where mixed Asian white women get to benefit from that mix, not so much for the Asian white mixed boys. And their inferiority complex might rival black women's, right? So, yeah, those communities are not as excellent as you think, brother. They're not, right? And Saint Cyr says, I'm glad Vivek got reminded of his place by Devil herself and Coulter. Haha, his face when he got reminded. Yeah, but Vivek already knows, man. The thing with these people is they just don't want you to say it to their face, right? Give them some plausible deniability. Give them the wiggle room. I'm not saying give yourself. I'm saying give them. They need to be able to be like, they need to be able to tell their wife or their kids or their friends, I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's what they meant. I don't know. Maybe you might be reading too much into that. They didn't say that, right? I don't know what you mean. That okay? You're saying they implied that or suggested that they said something a little racist or a little. Nah, I think you're reading. Yeah, you're reading way too much into that, right? When you overtly tell them, listen, no matter what you do, you're always gonna be less than. You're not white. It's so blatant. There's no way to go. Vivek already know that most white folks think that about him. Vivek knows that. You think Vivek doesn't listen? These people are not dumb. Nikki Haley know it. You know how we know Nikki Haley know it? Because she was out here getting banged out not by other Indians, not by Indian men, but by white men. She didn't cheat on her husband with black dudes and Indian guys and Latino guys, and nope, she cheated on her white husband with white men, right? Huh? And Landon, thank you for that. Cash App, thank you for that Cash App. She cheated on her white husband with white men, huh? All these people know what it is, man. Mindy Kaling knows what it is. That's why Mindy Kaling is on the white peen chase. Not black men, not even damn their white passing Latino men. Nope, white, right? These people know what it is. You think Andrew Yang doesn't know what it is? He knows. Ro Khanna, he knows. Huh? All these non-white folks know what it is. They know the hierarchy. Them and white folks just have this bargain where if you don't say it to my face, I'll pretend like you're not. Huh? If you don't say the racist anti-Asian things or anti-Latino things to my face, I'll pretend you're not that. If you Even if you make little jokes here and there, I'll pretend like they're little jokes. I won't accept that you're joking, but you're not joking. Huh? Asian folks know, bro. Asian folks know. Latino folks know. Indigenous folks know. Middle Eastern folks know. They know. Huh? All these people know. And a split Jim says replay gang. Replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? All these folks know. Everyone's pretending like they don't. That's a game. Everyone in America is pretending like they don't know the racial and class hierarchy. Just like how they tell you class is not a real thing in America. We don't have this class structure like, the aristocracy in Europe, especially the old aristocracy in Europe. That's not what America's on. That's the biggest crock of crap ever. Huh? Better you say that. Italians know too. Italians know they're not white. They know they're white, but they're not white. I'm not talking about the 1950s. I'm talking about now. Huh? Italians know. Huh? And compassion says multiculturalism is just uniculturalism in multicultural array. Dr. Thunder. Yep. Yep. Right. Thank you. And Mr. Strict to you says Siri play. I say Alexa, but fine. Siri play. They know by Shorty Low, please. And the song just popped into my head for real. Huh? So everyone understands it. Everyone pretends like they don't. Huh? And even Asians have when they're unemployed, they spend longer unemployed than white folks. Yes, even Asians. Huh? And then even when we speak about new businesses and who's starting businesses, what a lot of us don't actually appreciate is that businesses in America and entrepreneurship is disproportionately started by immigrants. And who are your immigrants? A lot of Latinos, a lot of Asian folks. So when we speak about like we need all these people start all these other businesses and Black America doesn't. Yeah, that the child of that Asian or the child or grandchild of that Latino or the child of whoever the hell that Arab, their grandchild of that Arab, they're not the ones who's starting businesses. They're doing um 9 to 5s, maybe middle class 9 to 5s, just like everybody else. It's their mothers and their grandmothers, their fathers and their grandfathers that started those businesses or that did start those businesses. Right? See what I'm look see better use says Asians actually have the longest stint of unemployment. Asians are around 19.6 weeks and blacks are 19.4 weeks. Thank you, better you. Like it's please for the life of all of us. Listen, we're in the Black manosphere. If we say red pill, we gotta mean red pill all the way. Red pill can't just be for Black women. Red pill can't just be for the women writ large. Red pill gotta mean red pill all the way. And what red pill means all the way is that society needs to say it's Jermaine's fault. And to say it's Jermaine's fault, and it's because the way Jermaine is acting and speaking and dressing, right? What society needs, white society needs to do is to imaginary put Asian folks on a pedestal. White folks don't really mean it. All that is Asians, it's the model minority myth. Asians are moving correctly. Asians are behaving correctly. Look at how well they're doing because they adhere to the script, the white racist script. Asians kiss enough ass, which that part is true. Asians are moving the right way, and that's why they're doing so well. Meanwhile, everything that's messed up about the Asian community, all the things that they're doing correctly that's still not benefiting them, they don't go reported. And as a matter of fact, Asians complain about that. There are a number of Asians that complain about the fact that the model minority myth actually obscures how much Asians are struggling and how many poor Asians there are all through New York, all through LA, all through the Bay Area. Huh? So yeah. So yeah, no, I'm not surprised by that. Better you. I'm not surprised by that at all. Chuck says, how are Asians doing in terms of high school and college graduation rates, representation in STEM fields, home ownership, teenage pregnancy, and incarceration rates? Low on all of them, and yet their unemployment rate is still 19.6 weeks. You see that? They're doing better than black people in all of this, and yet their unemployment rate is still 19.6 weeks. Well, will you look at that? Not to mention, STEM don't got the same pull as it did all of 5 years ago. They're actually trying to phase out a bunch of people in STEM, which is predictable. Still want, still want my future children to learn the basics, though. Right? Teen pregnancy is in the basement, which is much of the reason why the birth rate is so low. You got to take the good with the bad, or yet, better yet, you got to take the bad with the good. We lowered teen pregnancy rates, even in the black community. Teen pregnancy rates are in the basement, not even on the floor, in the basement. And teen pregnancy rates was half the reason. I'm exaggerating with that, but much of the reason why you had a birth rate worth a damn in America to begin with. Guess what? We went at teen pregnancy rates, which is a good thing. And as Dr. Richard Reeves said, some of the broken glass for the positivity is that your birth rate went to crap even more than it was before. And there you go. Right? And Saint Cyr says, talk about it, Z, because it's certain Asians that are doing extremely well, not all Asians. Look, man, I was with my lady yesterday. We went to Target to to drive up Target thing, and she ordered some stuff, and we went, parked and whatever. Young Asian dude bringing us our stuff. Now, I'm saying this on purpose. That's such a benign comment I made, right? Yes. But according to the narratives that the black community uses about Asians, that Asian dude is supposed to, young Asian cat, he's supposed to be either studying in college, um, studying for his classes, or he's supposed to be working at his family's business. He should not be doing, he should not be bringing us our groceries out of Target or whatever my lady ordered. Right now, once again, I'm exaggerating, I'm doing too much, but I'm doing this to paint a picture. This is an average Asian cat, young, so he probably is in school and whatnot, but his little job is working at Target for now. But that's not the narrative in the black community. The narrative is that a young man, 22, 23 years old, yeah, he's attending college or university, but he's also working at his family's business, because every Asian has a business. Huh? And he's not the only one, by the way. Uh, uh, about a year ago, there used to be a slim Asian dude that used to bring me and my lady her the stuff. Slim Asian dude with pink hair, and you could not tell me he was not LGBTQ. That wasn't just K-pop, bro. That was whole LGBTQ behavior. Huh? This is true, Chuck. And Chuck says a high baby deletion rate offsets the teenage pregnancy rate. For real, for real. No, but excuse me. But that's not. Excuse me. That's not the only reason, bro. That's not the only reason. Just in general, in America, we're having less sex. We're having less children. We're getting married less. Hey, much of that is, to be honest, much of that is because of the women and their insane hypergamy. That's true. But it's also because the rich white elite just said that you're going to work until you die. And 40 hours is not enough. Yeah, y'all got us with your labor rights laws. and 40 hours a week. So we're just gonna make sure that you don't get paid enough for that 40 hours. So now you got a side job, you got a second job, and you work a side gig. Z anyone? Huh? And when people are working 60 plus hours a week, I don't know how much sex and children they could have. Huh? Just saying. And once again, a split Jim, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. All right. And let me see. And Chef Butter Biscuit says, and thank you for the super chat. Chef Butter Biscuit says, I hope that one day non-black will stop allowing their kind to be cucked by them and stop sacrificing their daughters to the mayonnaise juicer. Hysterical. Look, man. Look. Um, Cyrus, if you don't mind, you can still send me that link for Twitter. I still could probably view it. So you can still put it in the live comments now, or if you want to put it in the comments after the stream, or if you want to email it to me, I could still view it, by the way. So yeah. That's hysterical, by the way, Chef Butter Biscuits. Look, man, some folks think that sacrificing your daughter to the white man's obelisk is going to put you in a better position, right? Yeah. Mike Rizzi. Hey, people haven't seen it. When I was in LA, I seen this. And Mike Rizzi says, younger dudes skateboard, rocking Supremes and weed is the new average Asian. Yo, when you're in New York, especially when you're not on the island of Manhattan, when you're in Chinatown or anywhere around Chinatown, you see this. I've seen it, right? And when I was in LA, I seen it, right? So we just have to some of these narratives. I can't remember early on when I was in the Black Manosphere, when I first made myself known. I remember I got into a back and forth with someone, and they tried to hit me with the trope of like, you don't see Asian folks doing that. You don't see Asians spending money on these Jordans and stuff. And I was like, whoa, 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 skirt, wait a minute, skirt, skirt, wait a minute, wait. Somebody tells Z line, anyone who's around younger South and East Asians in any city, especially New York, that's the biggest crock of crap we ever done heard. East Asians are goddamn tennis shoes fiends. Jordans, all excuse me, all the rare Reeboks, all the rare Fila, all the rare Nikes, all the rare Jordans. Somebody tells you he's lying. South Asians, yes, but really Latinos and East Asians, and even some small hats. Someone tells you he's lying. Stop talking to us about how the small hats don't spend their money on frivolous things. The young ones do. I don't know where y'all getting this from. Stop saying that. Thank you, Big Game. Asians been main sneakerheads. I don't know where y'all getting this from. Stop. Yo, these small hat dudes with a little bit of money are going to Banana Republic. They going to not so much H&M. They going to Zara. I don't know what y'all talking about. The small hat men and the small hat women. All under the age of 40, all under the age of 50, really. Definitely in their 20s. They're all in the mall, buying up everything. And when it concerning Asians, the South Asians are big on Jordans and Nikes, but the East Asians, the dudes, okay. Landon said, folks drinking Kool-Aid. I don't know where black people, out of all people, we're supposed to be the ones who have our ears to the streets, and maybe this anti-woke rhetoric done got y'all really closing y'all eyes. I thought we were supposed to be the ones that are aware and woke. And I don't mean it in the pejorative way that the Republicans done made it mean. We should be the first ones pushing back on this narrative. You don't see the Asians don't do that. You don't see the Jewish people doing that. That's not true at all, right? Maybe the first generation children, but yeah, of Asian immigrants, maybe, but nah, right? Charles says every time I am shopping, I always see a bunch of Asians at the mall. Man, I don't know where black people get this from. I get it. We're beating up on ourselves because of our socio-political position. I get it. Our socio-economic position. I get it. And because we have one or two nephews that has $7,000 to $10,000 worth of clothes and shoes in his closet, so we think this is the reason why the black community is broke. $7,000 to $10,000 worth of apparel, right? It's just not. That's not the reason. Now, I'm not saying that your nephew should be spending 7 to 10,000, maybe even $15,000 on clothes and apparel. I'm not saying that he should be. I'm saying that's not the reason black people are broke, right? Better use says when you hear someone saying you don't see X people doing that, ask them how many they know. Say that, right? And Kobe, I did not know this. And Kobe says, didn't the white women spend like 15,000 just to see Taylor Swift? I did not know that. I knew they were spending some money, but I didn't know they were spending that type of money. Thank you. And Cheryl says, stay parentheses awake, woke. Stay woke, right? And St. Cyr says, black people are too insular-y. They don't step outside of their race and interact like that with other groups and stay saying XYZ community doesn't do that. But bruh, it'd be the funniest thing. You hear it from black women, with the white men know how to take care of this, and non-black men. The funniest thing is when you hear somebody say, non-black men, did they look at y'all are embarrassing. They look down on y'all. No, they're racist as crap and they look down on black men because of race. Yes. They do not look down on black men because we're not quote unquote taking care of our women. Do you know how many single mother white women there are right now because of white men? Adam Lanza, anyone? Goddamn. Ooh. If y'all remember, he hadn't seen his brother in how many years? He hadn't seen his father in how many years? Huh? Uh-oh. Huh? Wasn't Dylan Roof was being raised by his dad and his stepmom? Whoopsie. And didn't have a really good relationship with them either. Huh? There's so many stories, especially in the Latino community, and we all, excuse me, y'all. And we're back. But yeah, especially in the Latino community, but we know the Latinos, so and many of us live around them and amongst them, so we already know about how hood they are, how many single baby mothers there are, how the Latino men oftentimes move worse than the worst stereotype of black men. So we already know that. But y'all don't really appreciate how much that exists in other communities also, right? These other communities aren't doing as well as y'all think. You just don't know. It's that simple. You just don't know, right? The East Asian community, like I said, the daughters deleting themselves, huh? The sons over here heartbroken because the daughters over here chasing after white dudes, huh? The South Asians like Mindy Kaling and her brother over here cosplaying a black dude. He's racist as crap. White dudes shunned him, but yet he's kissing their ass and he's cosplaying a black dude man just so he could get into school and so he could turn around and talk crap about black people, while admitting that when he was cosplaying a black man, he was being hit with all type of racism. Look at that. You're cosplaying black to prove that black people are full of crap and that everything is easy for us. You get hit with anti-blackness and racism. You had to admit it, and yet you still standing on, well, really the issue is you black people and the way they act. Shut your ass up. That's why your sister over here getting pogo sticked in and being left as a single baby mother by white men. Oops. Famous as hell, rich as hell. Y'all grew up upper middle class, and yet crappy family. Just crappy family with money and education. Huh? With insatiable inferiority complex. That's why you kissing white men's ass by regurgitating to them the same thing they want to hear about black people, namely black men. And that's why your sister over here, Mindy Kaling, chasing after white dudes. Every goddamn show she's on, she's chasing after white men. Huh? Better Use says the people talk about folks buying Jordans. That 7 to 10K in Jordans could have started a multi-million-dollar business. Shaking my head, young fella. LOL. Right? Yeah, on a off super chance, right? Like Better You. Look, we know what it is. We know what it is. As I said before, I get it. I get black people's frustration and anger at other black folks. I get it. I get why we're so angry and we're mad and we're sad and we're disappointed at other black people because of the way we behave. And to a certain extent, it's warranted. Yes, there are things that we could do to alleviate the pain. Um, yes, yes, it wouldn't hurt to take life a bit more seriously, to not spend our money so frivolously, to circulate the black dollar more around black businesses. But once again, those black businesses are going to have to intake non-black dollars. And what happens when those black businesses start intaking non-black dollars? And oh, y'all know this is coming. And you start having to interact with non-black folks that don't mean you well, that don't mean black people well, right? What does it mean for you to have a black business where you're investing your black dollars and maybe even a black bank, but though that black bank, to make more money, to be more profitable, has to loan out to not just black people, but to non-black people. Oh boy. Nixon told y'all, as racist as he was, Nixon told y'all back in the 70s, we will not let America be, or excuse me, we will not let black America be a colony within a nation. Now he was doing everything to make the black community a colony within a nation, a oppressed colony within a nation. But he told you back then, we will not let black America be a colony within a nation. And here we are. Huh? And once again, Chef Butter Biscuits, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Cyrus Burke says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Cyrus says, sorry, Z. They deleted the tweet. It was low key a series of tweets concerning, I mean, excuse me, let's say that again. It was low key a series of tweets connecting to each other. I'll explain it on your next panel show. Okay, okay. Right. But I'm not surprised if Asian dudes are, because I mean, like, if we're gonna be serious and mature about it, if Asian women are chasing after any white man worth a damn, and sometimes not even worth a damn, I wouldn't be pimping out black women to white men. And especially if they're joking, it's like, well, y'all want to go over there anyway, so let me see what white men will give Asian men for Asian women. Because Asian women want to go over there anyway, right? Now I'm not about that sounds too like pimping out your women to me, right? But especially if it's a joke or if they're joking, it still sounds too much like pimping out your women. But I get it. I get it. Especially if 54% of Asian women are going to marry out primarily, almost exclusively to white men anyway. I mean, right? Huh? Yeah. Charles says, Landon, I have a weird built Indian woman smiling at me a few weeks ago. I turned away, hysterical. Afro National says, you could have been a billionaire if it wasn't for them damn Jordans. I thought about Scooby Doo when you said that, right? And yeah, yes. And we're back. Yeah, we know a lot of it is that. We know, right? So yeah, y'all. On that note, coming to a close, um, Brickface Rota just lacks discipline, everyone. She lacks discipline. This would have been a great time for her to reinvent herself. This would have been a great time for her to have us question ourselves like, hey, you saw Rhoda was on Anton, and that ain't the same Rhoda that I saw on all the videos. I wonder if she was just behaving, or make you question yourself. Look at the way she was speaking. She participated. She didn't cut anybody off. She wasn't being loud and obnoxious, and et cetera, et cetera. At least the benefit of the doubt. But nope, she leaned all the way into everything people think. And well, right. So yeah. And Landon says, want that soul pull. It is what it is. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know about the rest of you brothers, but it it's still dehumanizing. I know there's some black women that feel a certain way about non-black men that just want to be able to knock a black woman off a bucket list and say, yeah, I did that with a black woman, right? I To be honest with you, I'm going to use the right word here. I feel the same way. I feel the same way with non-black women, right? Nema says lack discipline. I don't think she has any self-awareness at all. I'll agree with you on that one. I'll agree with you on that one, Nema. I still think she lacks discipline, but I agree with you. I think she lacks all different type of self-awareness. I think she lacks self-awareness, right? I think she does lack self-awareness. I think you're right, right? Yeah, and Charles says Rhoda was on Anton Daniel's stream. Yeah, yeah. Check the links in the description box. Both of them. I have them in order also, by the way. So yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I think she lacks discipline, and this would have been a great time for her to present herself on Anton's channel and to move a little differently and to have us question the way we view these things, right? But well, she couldn't. She couldn't, and I get it, right? So I think Rhoda um, is a good example of many black women, especially younger black women. They can't do it. They just can't, especially not for no black man. But they just can't not try to overtalk you. They just can't defer to you. They just can't let you get your word in without interrupting. They just cannot. And remember, Rhoda is an immigrant, and she can't even do it because she put her finger to the wind and said, "Oh, this is how you're supposed to treat the Negroes in America." Huh? Could Rhoda get away with this anywhere in East Africa? Probably not. Right? Eritrea, Somalia, Ethiopia. Could she get away with this anywhere in excuse me, East Africa? Probably not. But when she came to America, she put her finger to the wind and say, "Oh, we could mistreat black men. Okay, we could loud talk and overtalk black men. Okay, we could lie on black men in America. Okay. Oh, as a matter of fact, America encourages us to lie on black men. Okay, right? Chuck, I actually agree with you on this, but I got to mention some white stuff, right? That smile that you just probably cracked when I said I agree with you on this, it just turned into a frown. Here we go, right? And Chuck says, Rhoda, like many black women, perceive the consequences of her actions as systemic oppression. There's a reason for that because they think white women don't have to deal with consequences. They truly feel like, and I should say feel more than think, because we all know that white women got to deal with consequences just like everyone else. But they truly feel like white women don't have to deal with consequences, and it is about negative liberty. Why does she, um, Kim Kardashian, for example, or Paris Malone, no, not Paris Malone, excuse me, Paris Hilton, for example? Why do they get to have, um, I'll just say it. Why do they get have sex tapes and get famous off of it? We already know Paris Hilton was already famous, et cetera, et cetera. But how do they get famous off of it? And yet, if we do the same thing, we're seen as all type of 304s or all type of, name the sexual word, sexually explicit, pejorative word, whatever. Um, yeah. So a lot of it, in their minds, I get it. It's seen as oppression because the white women get to do it and black women don't. That's how they feel, huh? White women aren't told to settle, huh? And I think you're right though, Chuck. I think you're right. They do see consequences as oppression because white men get to do whatever and get away with it. White women get to do whatever and get away with it. Black men get to do whatever and get away with it. Now they know better. They don't actually believe it when they say it, but they'll say it though, right? Exactly. And Cheryl says Paris was already a billionaire heiress. Literally Paris Hilton. Literally her last name says everything you need to know. Huh? Exactly. And Landon says, man, dudes wife up 304s every day. And like that's how black women feel. It's oppression that we have to deal with consequences because these white women don't have to deal with consequences. Y'all won't marry us after we've had a um sexual past, right? Meanwhile, the white guys are marrying these loose ass 304 white women. That's how they think, right? Or better yet, that's how they feel. Mike Rizzi, I'm just not reading your last comment. I ain't even gonna put it up, right? I'm not even gonna highlight it, but true, right? Man. So on that note, everyone, um, yeah, I'm trying to see if I still can remember that word that May used when she was on Obsidian with Crystal and Kerosene. I still can't remember what word she used. It was right there. I had it for like half a second. It was almost, and I couldn't remember it. Okay, all right. That's just not gonna happen, apparently. Oh, I didn't know that. And Naaman says Paris Hilton was disinherited for her shenanigans. Oh, I didn't know that. Right. God, Indigo might have remembered because me and Indigo said the word when May said that word. I'm trying to remember you guys. I'm trying to remember the word that she used. I can't remember the word. Damn, Indigo Flow. Where's Indigo Flow when you need him? What was the word that she used? I almost had it. Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna mute up for a second. I'm gonna try to see if I could like get quiet and remember the word. Wait a minute. I'm gonna try to remember. Wait a minute, y'all. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I can't remember, y'all. I tried. I tried. I tried. Let me. Oh man, I can't remember the word that she used. It's right there too. I know I'm gonna remember when the stream ends. I know I'm gonna remember the word. Ah, yeah, I can't remember it, yo. My apologies. Right. So, and Charles says, um, Anton Daniel should have taken her off the panel once he knew who she was. I mean, 2K knew instantly, right? And 2K knew instantly, and he started kind of jabbing at her. And I agree with him. What she engaged in with that type of rhetoric, with those type of narratives, was very dangerous to black men, right? It was very dangerous. But once again, in America, no lie against black men is ever bad enough, to the point where you can even delete a black man. Look, it doesn't matter whether it's a black woman, a white man, a white woman, Latino. Um, if you are in the business of deleting black men, harming black men, lying on black men, um, you can be a LGBTQ black man, you could be a black woman, you can be a white man, Asian woman, Latino man, Latina woman, indigenous man, woman, any kind, Middle Eastern man, woman. If you can give America a it's all Jermaine's fault story, it doesn't even have to be convincing, right? It doesn't even have to be convincing, right? So yeah, y'all. So okay, on that note, we'll pause right here. Shout out to the replay gang. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the thank you button for the replay gang. We'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I think the Roger Report is still streaming. Um, he should be. So yeah, y'all go check out the Roger Report and Mr. Z out. All right, y'all. Z out.